The Department of Public Policy is a relatively small department. It is manned by 8 full-time staff members and about 50 part-time academic staff. The Department of Public Policy offers a significant and valuable contribution to the faculty and to society at large.
In 1978, in the course of major reforms in higher education, the government created a new university and introduced the worker-student scheme, under which students were sponsored by employers.
Initially, the number of students was fixed because the system under which the university worked was the worker-student scheme. And students came here to be sponsored by the government to pursue a degree in public administration.
The Department of Management Studies was set up at the new university. It comprised 3 subdivisions, namely business management, accountancy and public administration. Professor Edward Scicluna was initially responsible for the latter. The first official 5-year degree course in Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Public Administration was launched in 1978. Professor Reno Sammut was appointed acting head of Department of Management Studies, which is today the Faculty of Economics, Management and Accountancy, from January 1979 to September 1979. This was during the time when the department and the university were undergoing a transitional period. Sadly, he passed away in November 2017. In 1980, the Department of Management Studies migrated to the university campus Tal Arot and was re-established as a faculty. Professor Edward Scicluna retained responsibility for the subdivision of public administration.
There were 3 strands of academics. Those members of staff who were from the Polytechnic. You had the old university, and then there were the newcomers like myself who were studying abroad. We found a consensus and built the program from scratch. We had to repeat the course twice a year with very little time in between, where we had to correct the scripts and at the same time prepare for the new intake.
The emphasis was, and still is, on leadership and decision making. So we aim at developing the potential of our students into becoming leaders and into taking the right decisions. Decision making at different levels, so at the political level, the wider level, at the administrative level, and at the people's level. The idea was that we move from the traditional administration into public management.
In January 1979, Professor Edward Warrington enrolled in the Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Public Administration course with the first cohort of students and became head of department in 2009.
The department was going through a time of transition. Undergraduate numbers had declined very significantly, in the BCom honours especially. On the other hand, graduate numbers were increasing and there was also a keen interest in doctoral candidates.
Well, when I was appointed head, we had a number of challenges related to our staff and our student numbers. Student expects to be given lectures by highly qualified individuals. So the recruitment of staff that I used to find very challenging, and then having the right student numbers to make our courses viable for the department and for the University of Malta.
The department has had a number of heads who contributed and developed it to what it is today. Over the years, the department evolved and each head handled the department's state of affairs, met the challenges and made relevant changes.
At the time, it was very difficult to attract students to the public sector. It looked like they were going to be a narrow path, rather than looking at it so exciting. Brushing yourself in the policy field, being a manager in the public sector, it's quite a big responsibility. The fact that you can influence policy, have legislation, see this development. The word public administration, then we changed it to public policy, which is more attractive. So we've come a long way.
The big challenge is for the students to get their formation at the university in learning about life, about society. And within that framework, then decision-making and leadership comes in.
There were major challenges to recruit students. in competition with management and with accountancy. We were happy to have 25 students, which made it possible for lecturers to follow their development much more closely. Maintaining standards, maintaining a student-friendly department, ensuring that our students are successful in life.
The principal challenge was shepherding the staff who were still working towards their doctorates to a conclusion, so that by the end of my term of office, the department had a cadre of full-time and fully qualified staff.
One of the main challenges, the department required more student numbers. We introduced a new stream to the faculty MBA. We also absorbed the public administration that was run by the Institute for Public Administration and Management.
And also removing the stereotype that public policy will only secure you a job with government, with a public sector organization.
During their tenure, each head of department made valuable contributions.
I really pushed students to mix with other students from other countries, to open their eyes to a library which is really a place of learning, for students to ask questions, to be critical, to get into a university atmosphere at a time when it was difficult to do that. The second one is a high standard.
My contribution consisted mainly in a number of degrees and diplomas. The diploma in public administration, diploma in political studies, the establishment of the BCom as an integral part of the degree offered by the faculty, but also then developing into the honours degree in public policy. The MA, they had their masters in human resources development, so at the people's level. Another degree which was started was the Bachelor of Arts honours in public and private sector management. This was a reflection that management has a lot in common with both the public and the private sector. Then to accommodate students of the social administration and social work.
All of us had a British kind of education. When we organized the department, we always sought to ensure that the subjects we taught and how we taught them was challenging to the students. And in the end, the students emerged with a mind of their own, with ability of their own, to discuss and to assess.
I would say the biggest contribution was that I built up, I supported the staff until we had 5 fully qualified members of staff, and all of them with both feet in the department. I greatly expanded the portfolio of teaching programs. And the third was that I initiated the academic audit. I introduced changes in the undergraduate. We began looking at what you might call the cutting edge of contemporary public policy, which is the involvement of civil society in policy making, the increasing interaction of different levels of government in policy making.
I inherited a legacy of harmonious relationships. I tended to give more importance to enhancing our public profile. The Department of Public Policy became an established department in terms of its reputation, even nationally. We had our Facebook page, our public profile was raised. We also sought relationships with other departments within the faculty, outside the faculty. For example, our participation in the certificate in spatial planning with the Faculty of Built Environment.
I have only been 1 year in this position. However, we have embarked on a promotional campaign to make the Department of Public Policy have a more visible profile in the labour market and society at large. The website has been revamped, a public policy video has been launched targeting students and providing information for employers, as well as drafting a student handbook. The department has introduced a new Masters, a Masters of Science in Public Policy and Strategic Management. A textbook is also being written by our academics for our students about public policy and the studies that we offer.
It was a new faculty, but it was untried and untested. You're starting from scratch. You're being criticized, people are questioning everything you do, whether it will succeed. Looking back, you always have certain satisfaction, and I know my colleagues have the same feeling.
It was a time of restoring stability. I'm talking about the time when we had the old university, which was being tapered off, and the new university. We played a very important role in the development of this important faculty within the university.
It was not a problem in terms of being head of department of a good team. We had worked together very well. We understood where we wanted to go and what the standards should be. The students who come to the department feel like it's a kind of second home for them. It is with great pleasure I say I don't have any regrets.
It's a very challenging, very frequently a very isolated position. And one is really in the firing line of the central administration of the university. One of the most satisfying dimensions of my work as head of department was the excellent interaction with my peers, the other heads of department, the dean and the deputy dean. The faculty was and is fortunate to have a first-rate group of leaders.
I would say a very fulfilling experience. It was a steep learning curve. It's an opportunity to have a good sense of judgment.
It is an honor and a privilege to be able to serve the department and its faculty. The head of the department also brings with it quite a considerable amount of administrative work and coordination, which at times can be daunting and frustrating. However, the position of leadership is a fulfilling position, and I'm proud of the fact that at least I am the first woman to serve as head of our Department of Public Policy.